Welcome to Deep Dive by the Quiet Footnote. Today, we're taking a deep plunge into a book that offers a surprisingly refreshing perspective on something pretty fundamental, actually. Thomas M. Sterner's The Practicing Mind. Our mission with this deep dive is to really unpack what Sterner calls the art of being in the process without losing your mind to the finish line. Okay. It's a concept that, well, once you grasp it, it feels like it has the power to reshape how you approach pretty much everything. What's really compelling about Sterner, I think, is that he isn't some, distant philosopher up in an ivory tower. He wrote this book from the practical, kind of gritty reality of his own life. He's a piano technician, a golfer, a lifelong learner who openly admits he grappled with what he calls the I'll be happy when disease.
Right.
So his insights feel so grounded because they come from someone who actually lived the problem. He zeroes in on this challenge we all face. Okay, we know what we want to achieve, but how do we actually live in that getting there part without constantly feeling frustrated or overwhelmed or, making our happiness conditional on hitting that next goal?
That's what's so fascinating here. Yeah. Sterner really aims straight at a gap most of us don't even notice we have until it's like eating away at our peace. He cuts right to the heart of it. How do we stay present, motivated, and peaceful while pursuing improvement in any skill or life goal without getting trapped in frustration, comparison, or that endless chase for the next big thing? It sounds simple, but it's actually a profound question that, honestly, most advice completely overlooks. Think about it. Most self-help books, online courses, they're all about setting bigger goals, hustling harder, finding the fastest path to mastery, right? But almost none of them teach you how to be mentally and emotionally okay while you're walking that often long, slow road toward those goals. So this deep dive will illuminate Sterner's essential practice mindset, showing you how he helps you not just endure the journey, but maybe truly enjoy it.
Okay, so let's unpack his core thesis because it's deceptively simple, but wow, it's incredibly profound. Sterner's belief is that process is where life happens and that goals are just markers. The practice is the real living. Now, my brain immediately goes to, but wait, isn't the goal the point? Isn't that what we're aiming for? How does he get us to truly flip that mindset?
Well, he'd say the goal isn't the problem itself, it's our attachment to it as the sole source of happiness. That's the issue. For Sterner, learning to be truly present in the act itself, whether you're playing scales on a piano, working on a painting, cooking dinner, or even just, clearing your mind, that's the absolute antidote to frustration, burnout, and all that self-sabotage we inflict on ourselves. It's about being here, doing this. And honestly, if this book was relevant when it came out back in 2006,
Yeah.
here in 2025, it's practically screaming at us.
It really does feel more urgent now, doesn't it? I mean, we're living in this hyper-connected world where everything feels like it needs to happen instantly.
Absolutely. We're in what I like to call a dopamine drip economy.
Yeah.
You've got TikTok speed, instant AI-generated content, same-day delivery for everything. And all this marketing promising results in 30 days. It's created this modern trap of microwave mastery. We expect to get good fast, immediately. And when we don't, our immediate reaction is either to quit or spiral into self-blame. It's tough.
And when every app and platform is basically designed to pull your attention in 1,000 directions, that deep, sustained focus feels almost impossible sometimes.
Exactly. So Sterner's message that mastery is slow, deliberate, mindful. It's like a quiet rebellion against the hustle culture and the algorithm chasing that dominates our attention. He's telling us, slow down, focus. This is where the gold is. And the urgency is just immense now, especially in the age of AI.
Oh, so with AI.
Well, these tools can draft, compose, or design stuff in seconds, right? It's tempting to just bypass the whole learning process. But Sterner's philosophy reminds us that mastery isn't just about the end product. It's profoundly about who you become while creating it. That's crucial. And when you factor in rising burnout rates, all the mental health conversations we're having, and the fact that digital distraction is literally a business model, Sterner's focus muscle becomes, well, it's a survival skill.
A survival skill. Wow, that's a powerful way to put it. So, okay, if process is where life happens, how does that fundamentally challenge the common beliefs we hold about achievement and getting things done? Because, yeah, so much of what we've been taught feels diametrically opposed to that.
It really does, and that's where Sterner truly shines. He just quietly dismantles so many of our ingrained assumptions. For instance, we've all probably been told, or at least we've internalized, happiness comes when you reach the goal. What do you think he'd say about that one?
My immediate thought is, well, if I'm not happy now, why would I magically be happy later? But it's so easy to fall into that trap, isn't it? Always looking ahead.
He completely agrees with you there. Sterner's counterpoint is really sharp. If you can't be content during the process, you won't magically be content at the finish line. You'll just move the goalposts endlessly. He uses the example of a golfer who's miserable while learning. They'll still find fault even after a perfect game because their mindset hasn't shifted, you see.
Right, right. And what about speed? Because in our culture, speed equals success. Faster, more, quicker. That's the mantra.
That's myth number 2. Speed equals success. Stirner argues that rushing actually creates tension and mistakes, which leads to burnout. Slower, more aware practice is almost always faster and more sustainable in the long run. Imagine trying to play a musical passage at full tempo, just fumbling it over and over, playing it half speed with precision. That leads to mastery much sooner.
That's so counterintuitive, but yeah, it makes so much sense when you put it like that. Okay, and what about mistakes? We're basically taught to avoid them at all costs, right? They're often seen as failures.
Exactly. Myth 3. Mistakes mean you're failing. Stirner completely reframes this. Mistakes aren't verdicts. They are simply feedback, information. They're just data for adjustment, not some kind of evidence of personal inadequacy. If you hit a wrong piano note, instead of thinking, oh, I'm terrible, Stirner would have you think, interesting, my hand moved too soon. Then you adjust. It's all about observation, not judgment.
Wow, that's a huge mindset shift right there. Okay, and the biggest one for me personally is multitasking. We're all told we have to multitask to be productive. Is that another myth he busts? Oh, absolutely. Myth 4, multitasking makes you more productive. Stirner would say, no way. Dividing your attention absolutely destroys quality and actually increases the time it takes to achieve mastery. The practicing mind thrives on one-task focus. Simple as that. Trying to practice scales while simultaneously thinking about your overflowing email inbox. You'll end up with neither good music nor a cleared inbox.
Okay, message received. So no more trying to write an email while listening to a deep dive about Stirner then.
Probably a good idea, yeah. And then there's myth 5. You arrive, and then you're done. This one's kind of insidious because it implies there's this finish line where you just stop growing. Stirner's counter is simple. There is no final done in skill or personal growth. There's only deeper and deeper refinement. Always. Even master craftsmen, elite athletes, they continue to practice fundamentals daily.
So it's not like climbing a ladder to the top and you're finished. It's more like a spiral staircase where you keep going deeper into the practice. Exactly like that. Yeah. And finally, myth 6. Discipline is about force. We often think of discipline as this harsh, punishing grind, But Stirner says true discipline is gentle and consistent. Showing up every day for, say, 20 minutes of focused work will always be grinding for 5 hours once a week in exhaustion and resentment. It's a quiet commitment, not a battle you have to wage against yourself.
These debunkings, they lead us directly to some truly revolutionary concepts he introduces. What's next after tearing down all those old beliefs? Where does he take us?
Well, one of the most powerful concepts he introduces is self-observation without judgment. This is just incredibly powerful. It lets you make a mistake without triggering all that shame or anxiety. You simply observe it like a scientist would observe an experiment. You gather neutral data rather than acting like a critic condemning a failure. It completely runs counter to the, evaluation-heavy culture we live in.
That sounds like it would just dissolve so much internal pressure. It really does. And then there's this idea that's almost a paradox, isn't it? About progress.
Yes, the paradox of progress. You actually get better fastest when you stop rushing to get better. This is incredibly counterintuitive, isn't it?
Totally.
It's like a musician who plays better when they relax into the groove instead of forcing it. Tension kills flow, and flow is really where mastery lives.
So how does he give us a practical way to deal with the overwhelm that so often comes with trying to learn something new or tackle a big project?
Yes. He gives us this really practical mantra to combat overwhelm. The 4 S's. It stands for simplify, smallify, slow down, and stay.
Okay, break that down. Simplify.
Simplify means removing unnecessary complexity. Like, imagine simplifying a recipe from 10 ingredients down to the core 3 that really matter.
Got it. Smallify.
Smallify is breaking tasks into manageable pieces. So instead of tackling a whole complex Bach piano piece, you smallify it down to maybe just 4 measures at a time, something you can actually handle.
Makes sense. Slow down.
Slow down means giving each step your full, undivided attention. Really be there for it.
And
stay means sticking with the process without jumping ahead or getting distracted by the next shiny thing. So for example, in woodworking, rushing the assembly without careful sanding leads to a sloppy finish, right? Applying the 4 S's ensures quality and, frankly, more satisfaction. It's truly an antidote to the overwhelm that just kills momentum.
All right, so with all these fascinating insights, the myth debunking, these revolutionary concepts, what are the core lessons Sterner truly wants us to internalize? If someone walks away from this deep dive, what are the big anchors they should pull from the practicing mind?
Okay, top takeaways. First, definitely. Process over product. Your goal is the compass, it points the way, but it's not the source of happiness. True satisfaction comes from fully engaging in the step you're on right now. Second, self-observation without judgment. Mistakes aren't verdicts, they're just information. Watch yourself like a curious scientist, not a harsh critic. Third, the paradox of slowing down. Remember this one. Rushing to improve actually slows you down. Working with calm, focused attention speeds you up in the long run. Fourth, small, simple, consistent steps win. Break your work into pieces you can actually master without feeling overwhelmed. And then just keep showing up for them. Consistency is key. And finally, fifth, life is the practice. Mastery doesn't end at your specific craft, whatever it is. The mindset you build spills over into everything you do, from relationships to chores, even how you handle stress. If I had to boil the entire book down into just one sentence, it might be this: a gentle manifesto for slowing down, focusing deeply, and finding joy in the act of doing so. Progress becomes both inevitable and peaceful.
That summary really encapsulates it beautifully. Let me share a few impactful quotes from the book that, for me at least, seem to resonate even more strongly in our current world here in 2025. First one: when you focus on process, you will find success. In 2025, success often means going viral, quick numbers, fast payoffs. Sterner's reminder just slices through that noise, saying the only reliable route to real success is steady process, not those flashy spikes. For any craft, whether it's music or writing or coding, the daily showing up matters far more than the day you suddenly go big. Second quote: everything in life is practice. This is, wow, an absolute stress dissolver for me. If everything is practice, then there's no such thing as real failure-only feedback. That mindset is incredibly liberating in an era where every tiny misstep can feel like it's being screen captured and replayed online for everyone to see. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Third, learn to love the process, and you will love what the process produces. Chasing results without actually enjoying the work? It's like wanting the harvest without enjoying planting the seeds. Especially now, with AI shortcuts tempting us everywhere, loving the process keeps you deeply connected to the human side of creation. That messy, beautiful part that algorithms just can't replicate. And the fourth one: progress is a natural result of staying focused on the present moment. This, for me, is maybe the ultimate antidote to distraction culture. We constantly think we need more hacks, more tools, more speed, but often maybe all we truly need is the discipline to stay right here in this one task until it's done. It feels far simpler and maybe more effective than any productivity hack out there.
That's really well put. And as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, I keep thinking, beyond these really clear lessons and these powerful quotes you shared, is there maybe an unheard message beneath Cerner's words? Something subtle yet profound that he's truly trying to convey?
That's a great question. It does feel like there's an underlying current to the whole book, doesn't it? Like a gentle hand guiding you rather than just a set of instructions.
I believe there is, yeah. Beneath the calm, practical tone of the practicing mind, I think there's a quieter, almost whispered message running through it. One Sterner never quite states outright, but you can kind of feel it between the lines. And it's something like this: you're not broken. You're just rushing past your own life.
Wow.
If you peel back the surface lessons about slowing down and focusing, what he's really telling you, I think, is that your worth isn't tied to how quickly you improve or how flawless your output is. You already have the capacity for mastery and peace. They're not out there waiting for you at the finish line. They're available right here, right now in the act you're doing.
Oh.
The real damage, he implies, isn't from making mistakes. It's from missing your life while you're constantly chasing the next thing. It's about really learning to be present in your own skin right here without conditions.
That's a truly powerful and, yeah, often overlooked message. So, to bring this deep dive full circle, the practicing mind isn't just about getting better at a specific skill like playing the piano or golf. It's profoundly about getting better at living. It really feels like a manual for anyone who feels stuck between that common lament of, I wish I were there already, and that self-defeating thought of, I'm just not good enough yet. Sterner isn't selling a shortcut, he's actually teaching us how to stop looking for one. The real magic, it seems, happens when you learn to pair peace and progress. So, let me ask you listening, what stands out to you from this deep dive? How might cultivating a practicing mind change your daily approach to learning, creating, or maybe simply being present?
And building on that, Sterner helps us realize that seemingly mundane activities, like, yes, tuning a piano, but also walking your dog or even folding laundry, all of these can be opportunities for mindful practice. They really can. So here's a final, maybe provocative thought for your own next steps. How will you identify just one everyday frustration this week, something that usually winds you up, and consciously decide to treat it as a practice drill, a drill in patience and presence? Because by internalizing this philosophy, you won't just get better at your craft or your job, you'll actually get better at living, turning even the mundane into something truly nourishing.